Alright, let's talk about neurotransmission now. Neurotransmission is the process by which neurons actually communicate. This happens in part, as I said, an electrical signal, but it's actually also a chemical component. So let's take a closer look at these. So how do neurons communicate? Well, neurotransmission is just a fancy word meaning just that. Neurons sending signals one to the next. In this picture over here, there are 4 connections happening. We have over here the dendrites on one, passing along the axon of one, connecting over to different points on the dendrites of neuron number 2. So multiple sites where they connect. It's not just a simple one-to-one connection, but a branching connection of multiple neurons at multiple sites along their dendrites. The signals passed along what's called action potentials. So neurons at rest means it's not signaling, and it has sodium ions, these purple dots. Let me get out of the way. These purple dots are on the outside. When a charge comes along and the action potential is activated, the sodium rushes in. This displaces the potassium, and this is actually what causes the electric signal to pass through. So again, neurons are at rest when the sodium ions on the outside of the cell body and the potassium ions on their inside. When there's a spike, the sodium, the purple, rushes in, displacing the potassium, the blue, on the way out. This is what the action potential is. This is how the electrical potential is passed along the length of the axon. So we can look at it this way as well. It's called depolarization, in other words, where the dendrites receive a signal from other neurons, starts a chemical cascade that causes this electric current to pass along an axon over to the synapse. Let me get my notes in front of me. So we can think of this as the depolarization. This action potential happens because of the rushing in of ions, of charged particles from the outside of the axon inside of it, displacing the resting potential materials. So this causes the electrical potential to race down from the soma all the way down to the end of the axon, to the synapse, which is the joining point of 2 different cells. Let's look closer at one of those synapses. So again, I'm in the way. Here we are. So once the electrical impulse reaches the end of the axon at a terminal button, it triggers a vesicle. Remember, a vesicle is a storage container within a cell. And when these get hit by the electric potential transferred by the ions rushing in from outside and displacing the other ions, so their names elude me for the moment, but this causes the vesicles to move to the end of the terminal button and release their neurotransmitters. These are biochemicals that cause signals on other neurons. So the synapse is this gap here between 2 cells, and at each dendrite there are a series of receptors. And so when the axon is excited, it releases at the terminal button some of these neurotransmitters. These get released across the synapse, which is a very small, we're talking like a micro distance, far less than a millimeter even. And these receptors capture these neurotransmitters, and this causes the next cell to begin its signal process. Let's take a quick look at how this kind of looks. Sorry, there's not sound for this. There's not much sound anyways, but we see, visually, this is kind of a visualization. Cells don't actually light up like this, but we see how it transfers from dendrite to axon. See close up a synapse right here. So we see synapse that releases all these neurotransmitters, and that causes the next one to light up. Let's play through that one more time so it goes pretty quick there at the end. Right, so we have it traveling through, electric impulse branching across, talking to numerous other cells. And here's kind of the new part. So see the terminal button? It's about to receive a signal. And when it does receive a signal, it's going to release these neurotransmitters down below. And this in turn is going to excite this dendrite. So a neurotransmitter is a chemical messenger that carries signals between neurons as well as other cells in the body. So these are released from the terminal buttons on the axons, cross the synapse, and join the receptor sites of the next neuron. We're going to look at some neurotransmitters in particular to help solve the case of the Z1N2 virus. All right, thanks guys for keeping up. This will be pushed to Classroom later on if you need to rewatch it. And please turn your attention back to science class. I'll see you guys tomorrow.